next morning. We got her yanked out at roughly 2 or 3 in the morning. So we decided to call it. We just left her on the floor. But got the same work gear on. So we're gonna pull the intake manifold off so we can get to the torque converter bolts. Take those bad boys off and then do the bell housing bolts, and there are 2 studs on the bottom with have nuts, they aren't bolts. Take those off, see if we can separate this bad boy, which is not going to be fun, I'm sure, because I'm sure they're pretty mated together. And then try to hopefully get the engine on the engine stand today. So let's get to it. All right. So in the intake manifold, there are just 2 12 millimeter bolts on each flange. And the brilliant engineers at Subaru left all of the coolant lines and whatnot, all the hard lines, whatever these are, give you just enough room to get a socket on, so that's pretty convenient. So thank you, Subaru. I say that and I'll probably lose my socket down in here. So far, so good. Okay, well, none of those were stupid tight, so that's nice. And I've still got this chain in the way, I think. I think this is in my way. Yes, I have to take that off. Might be wishful thinking. I don't remember how tight I made this. Let's see if my little 1/4 inch. Oh, would you look at that? Way to go, Bosch. Okay. Chain up out of the way. For now. All right, so let's find out what I'm forgetting. Plug wires. Ow, that hurt. Ow, that hurt as well. Everything hurts when you're cold. And unfortunately, the shop is not very well heated, nor very well insulated. Actually, a lot of the time it's colder in here than it is outside, which is pretty inconvenient. I assume that this needs to be unplugged. And this is definitely going to hurt. Maybe you guys ever do these like little electrical connectors? Your hands are freezing. It's terrible. Maybe I can use a screwdriver. And just try not to break it. Try not to block all of the light in the shop. Yes, thank you for not being ridiculously hard. All right, so now what am I forgetting? I'm no Subaru expert, but I'm pretty sure the firing order is 1324, and it's also labeled on the coil, so normally I would mark this kind of stuff, but I guess with the Boxer, it's kind of easy because there's only 2 to choose from on each side. All the Subaru guys are probably like crying because I don't know what I'm doing. I've never owned one before, so I'm sorry. Oh, I did it, and I'm pretty sure it didn't break. Well, that's nifty. How neat is that? I don't know what that is. There's a little hose. I can't tell if it's going under or coming out of one of the heater core lines. I don't know. There are 2 hoses. I'm just going to take them off. And pretty obvious where they go, so despite the fact that I'm stupid and don't know what they do, I should be able to put them back together. Hopefully you can see these now. Move the camera over. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't know what these are. They look like coolant maybe, I'm not sure. I presume, since it's looks like it's coming out of the heater core. If anyone's watching, feel free to let me know in the comments if anyone cares to. I'd like to know. I'm sure it's a Google search away, but I've just never Google searched it.
Don't they have a tool for those?
Probably.
Like a fancy
I would not be surprised.
wire tool?
I don't know. If so, I don't have it that I'm aware of. Between Andrew and I'm not aware of one. Certainly
Yeah.
feels like this one is holding me up.
Mm-hmm. Is it there?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Oh, is this the coolant crossover thing that I always see on the forums that I never knew what was? Underneath the intake manifold, perhaps? I think that's a thing. I think that's probably what this thing is. I don't know that. I've read about it. No one ever posted any good pictures of it on the forums I saw, so never knew what it looked like. Might go with the WD-40 route. Kind of pry a little bit of the hose out and spray a little bit of WD-40, not a ton. Again, by no means is this channel a tutorial, so if this is just the complete wrong way to do this, I'm sorry. Please feel free to tell me the right way. Or tell us, I should say. I'm sure you'll see Andrew and I doing an equal amount of things the wrong way. Well, I don't know. He usually knows what he's doing pretty well. I generally don't. Oh, this is working though. Okay, well, WD-40, 2 flatheads. I don't even think I hurt anything. So that's kind of sweet. I hope I'm equally successful over here. I'm sure I won't be. All right, so I'm gonna try to take this connector off so I can get to this hose better and maybe you guys can see that better. I don't know what I'm doing. There may be like an order of events that's supposed to happen that I'm unaware of. Like might make my life easier if I was aware of them. But you know, it's a learning process. There we go. Also gonna label this because, again, never had one of these apart before. Well, never had one of this particular engine apart before. I assume that's like throttle position sensor. I don't know. Maybe one of those is throttle position sensor. I'm not sure. I'm gonna label them. I'll label them something generic because I don't know what they're actually called. We'll just go throttle body, top, passenger. There you go. So you don't need to know what you're doing, you just need to take good notes. I'm sure these all only plug into one place, but rather than doing like a jigsaw puzzle later, it's easier to just label them rather than like, oh, does it go there? Does it go there? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm gonna go ahead and label this one too, because I also don't know what it is. Math, who knows? I don't. A lot of people probably do know, but I don't. Throttle body, top, driver. There you go. That probably won't stick. Didn't make the piece of tape long enough. Oh, maybe. Look at that, just barely. I'll stay on there good enough. Okay, so there we go. Now I don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's see if I can get this out of the way. Yeah. Hope you guys can see that better now. I'll try to get this one off. That looks dirty. It's kind of like what the entire inside of the car looked like when I first got it. Ah, is that far enough? Maybe a smidge farther, a smidgen? Which is a real unit of measure, but I don't think it's a unit of distance, is it? Not positive. All right, time for the old WD-40 trick. Get a little water displacement formula 40 in there. I think that's what that stands for. Read that somewhere. Didn't fact check it. Seems reasonable though. Come on, honey. You can do it. Oh, you're right there. Yeah. Wow, that looks terrible. That probably should not be that gross. Okay, well, these two big clips attach this little metal bracket with like a little plastic clip that goes into like a little metal recess, and I broke the little clips on accident, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm just gonna zip tie them back on there if I feel if I think it's necessary whenever we put it back together. But just a heads up. I don't know how those work, so good luck if you do it. Okay, there's another little electrical connector here. Of some sort. And it's not a 14. Maybe it's a 12. Maybe it was a 14 and I'm dumb, which is equally likely. Okay, it's a 12. And she's on there pretty good then. We're just taking things apart. I don't know what they are, but you know, you just gotta go for it sometimes. It looks like this is stopping me from doing what I think I need to do, so out it comes. 12 mil. And I'll put it back once I get this stuff all out of here. So I don't forget where it goes. Actually, maybe I can just move this and put it back right now. Yeah, that's the way to go in my opinion. It's easier to keep track of things if the bolts are just already in the holes that they go in. But that's just me. Shall try again. Oh. Ooh, if you had a free hand, that'd be great, Kayla. Actually, you know what I can do? Never mind. I don't want you to get dirty. Unless you just want to pop that right through there. You can take the clip off the end. Oh yeah, so close. Use a screwdriver if you need. Yeah, okay. Nice. Hey, look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Is this in the shot? Ooh, we did it. Let's label some stuff. Okay, so we're just gonna clean this up because there's a lot of grossness that hopefully you guys can see, and a piece of corn, which is kind of interesting. We found one in the engine bay too, and I don't know how that happens, but so
Cornfield driving.
honestly, yeah, I just took this bad boy off road. Okay, so probably time lapse this part so you don't have to listen to like the monotonous drone of a shop vac, but see what we can do. I think Andrew's going to do the torque converter bolts. There's this little access port, or this little, I don't know, this might be rubber. It might used to have been rubber, I don't know. Pops out of there, put a 22 mil socket, is that what you said, 22? 22 on the crank pulley, I think. Yeah. Spin it over until you get to the bell housing bolts, or the torque converter bolts, which are 12s. And I think there should be 4 of them, so see what happens. Hey! Nice. All right. Here comes a probably very frustrating for us, but hopefully funny for you guys, time lapse of us trying to get these things separated.
Well, we done pulled the engine and went to Harbor Freight, got the old Pittsburgh engine stand. Got it for a good deal. What did we pay? 60?
51 out the door.
51 out the door for a 1,000-pound engine stand. So, I mean, send it.
We had a 20% coupon, I think.
Right.
20% off.
So we'll probably, put this together and it'll be fun.
Alright, so despite how awesome Harbor Freight is and how much we love it, what's the issue, Andrew?
These are way too wide, which makes this bolt much too short.
Solution?
This side is better. This side is, you can even look at it and see that they're. So
Let's see if I can actually show that on the camera.
we're just gonna
Oh yeah.
lock them in. We're just gonna bring it in. Probably. Oh, that stayed. That's good.
You need a wrench.
Possibly. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. It's mint.
I like that.
Problem solved. Thanks, Harbor Freight.
Yeah, just walk past it. I want to get a shot, with you at the engine stand walking up to the engine.
Oh, what the hell?